Okay, I think that's my clue to start, right, Lee? Yes. Okay. Welcome everyone to our Stop TB Canada national call. Thank you all for joining, especially in these turbulent times. It's even more important to connect and be in community with each other. So I don't know where you are, but it's hard to not look at the news and hear and be worrying, especially if we look at our southern neighbors. Some disturbing changes are happening in the world. So some of you might actually be directly impacted by the freeze on development aid and global health, and we'll be talking about that. But today's national call is even more important to really jointly define our voice, speak up against the erosion of care structures, and stand with people affected by TB around the world and within Canada. So as Stop TB Canada, this is what we offer a platform for today so that we can urgently join our voices and take action with moral ambition. So let us use the World TB Day momentum to jointly advocate to end TB and really strongly voice our concerns for democracy and care for people and humanity. So that's our kind of preamble to the agenda. We are looking at some of the advocacy priorities that we've been focusing on, and we will clue you in on what we've been planning and what are some of the pieces where you can join the Stop TB Canada ongoing activities. We'll listen to what is globally happening in response to the aid cuts from the US. We'll have a Canadian parliamentary update because, of course, our own government system is also in flux at the moment. And then we'll have specifically plans and chats about what we can do for World TB Day, our regular monument lit up and many other points, and the NAR Union Conference specifically as well. And then we would love to hear from all of you. So lots on our agenda. And maybe I'll start with just letting you know that the World TB Day theme from the Stop TB Partnership is commit, invest, and deliver. And yes, we can end TB. We as Stop TB Canada, we're going to use this slogan as well for this year's World TB Day campaign, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So just to brief you quickly on some of the advocacy priorities for 2025. Many of you have been involved in collecting evidence on the access to TB medicine in Canada, and the findings are now out. The report is out, and it shows a really concerning picture that most of you are probably aware of, with that multiple essential TB drugs are not marketed in Canada. We have cumbersome regulatory pathways, significant delays with drugs getting to providers, and many of these barriers are disproportionately affecting Indigenous and newcomer populations and children because there's no access to child-friendly medicines. So all of these points are in our report, and Lee will put the link in the chat. We also have a social media kit that outlines some of these key messages that we've found. And we're very happy to let you know that the report was launched and well received and well covered in the news. We have a list, several news items, CBC News, CTV, the Globe and Mail wrote article. There are several really good news articles that cover the situation. So please have a look on our website where you can find all these news activities. And we still need your voice. We're currently we've had several meetings with government departments, and there are ongoing discussions with various groups that are interested in solving this situation or responding to this situation. And we'll be planning also a webinar right before World TB Day on the 19th of March that really dives more deeply into the access to essential TB medicines in Canada with responses from PHAC and Health Canada. So we're looking forward to all of you joining us in making this report widely available. And so please use the tools that we have and the reports and everything, and join us in the World TB Day webinar in March. That is our focus for the domestic advocacy. There are many other activities happening, but we really want this particular report to be highlighted in the upcoming months. So on a global level, Well, as we already said, these are turbulent times, so it's even more important that as Canadian NGO and as Canadian network, that what we are, to show our solidarity with TB partners in the South and with our partners and implementers that are really impacted by the funding cuts. So even more important, therefore, is to support the Global Fund investment case, which was launched yesterday, and the link will be put in the chat. The global aid, which is now under threat, global health, which is under threat, is more than is often a real important bridge function for countries while they are building their own sustainable TB financing mechanism or their own health governance mechanisms. So aid and investment in aid, such as the Global Fund, is crucial these days, and Canada has supported in a big way in the last replenishment. So we're really hoping that in the next replenishment, we can sustain these efforts. And we would need all voices to really push to make this happen. So if you're interested in joining the Coalition of Canadian Advocates to help us support the 8th replenishment, please put your name on this Google form. You will be called to some planning meetings, and in the upcoming months, you will, as network, will all receive from us information on how to join our advocacy work. And beyond the Global Fund, we also know that R&D allocations and TB Reach are up for needing support from the Canadian government. So it's not just the Global Fund, it is a broader range of activities around tuberculosis where we really want the Canadian government to continue leading. They are such a strong voice on the global scene for TB globally, and we'd love for the government to continue this strong voice. So fundraising advocacy is even more important, especially this year with Canada leading the G7. For Canada to make that voice about global health and global aid and put TB right at the center, as they've done so well over the last decades, and then handing over to South Africa when the G20 is happening later this year. So honestly, we need your strong grassroots voices to hold the government accountable and to continue pushing for global health and for care around people around the world. So these are just, from a domestic and a global advocacy point of view, some of the highlights that as Stop TB Canada we're trying to help you focus in on. And I think from here I'm handing over to Lee to take the or as actually it's to Robin. Robin, if you could take the platform from me and talk a little bit about the impact of the US chaos that is happening at the moment.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Robin. I work as an independent consultant in the fight to end tuberculosis and wear many different hats. One of the hats I'm wearing right now in a totally volunteer capacity alongside a number of others committed to the fight globally is supporting the resurrection and now functioning of what is being called the TB Community Coordination Hub. We've pulled a group of volunteers from all around the world together specifically so that we can have an informed and organized TB community to respond to this very dark and devastating time of US walking away from investments in forward aid, including in the TB response, and from democracy, to be frank. So I'm going to actually share my screen with you to show you a little bit of the work that we've been doing, but really modeling what we saw coming out very fast from the HIV community. We pulled together a survey to assess the impact specifically on the TB response around the world. So I just want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek as to the pretty awful findings coming out of that work and let you know what's going to happen next. So this survey has been sent through tons of different networks. We've got responses from more than 30 countries as of now. 135 people have responded, and you'll see this chart here that 58% of those who have responded have said that there's been a severe impact on their ability to deliver TB-related services. I also wanted to point out that we tried to dig into what services were being impacted. You can see these charts. So this chart right here, 64 of respondents said that they've stopped all activities related to TB screening. and 33 have reduced those activities. And I could go on and show you the impact across treatment adherence support, nutrition support, peer support, research, clinical trials, etc., technical assistance. But I won't as of now, because this survey is still live and ongoing. But I wanted to make a plea to anyone on the call here that has contacts of people who are directly impacted, organizations who are directly impacted. Please do share it with them for them to complete it. We are working right now with a pretty big wig journalist in the global health space who's interested in doing an exclusive story on the findings of this survey. And in addition, she's looking to interview a number of different partners in high burden USAID priority countries who are particularly affected. Okay, so one way we're trying to keep everyone coordinated and organized is we've got this hub website. We're collating all the different actions that people can be taking right now. So you can come and find the survey here. You can find assets to help you quickly send it out through WhatsApp or email, and you have some different versions in translation right here. We've also got some actions for people based in the US that they can take, any advocacy campaigns that are ongoing. And I wanted to highlight that there's one live now from the Stop TB partnership called Keep the Lights On, which is specifically looking to support civil society and TB survivor networks at community levels who are being particularly impacted by these stop work orders and freezes. And we're particularly reliant on USAID funding. We're also collating different resources from allied networks here and anything that's coming out from the TB community space. So an ask of you would be to go and amplify these materials from the community space. Specifically, we've got this TB Community Coordination Hub statement that came out last week that we'd love your support with amplification. And we're also collating news. So if you want to talk about what's happening through your different comms channels, you can come here, grab some of the latest TB specific news and pump it out through your different channels. Please, when you do so, use the hashtag Restore TB Funding. That will help us to see what others are speaking about and also amplify their work. And again, I can't stress enough the devastating impacts that this is having on those we seek to work with and for, and those who we love and have been our allies around the world in this fight for so long. Our WhatsApps are blowing up constantly with people being laid off, people not getting access to services that they need. Imagine sputum transportation that heavily relies on community health works to take a sputum to a lab to be diagnosed with TB. Those critical linkages in the TB response, which are community actors who are playing, do not have support right now to continue their work. Final example, I just want to say, yesterday I was in New York and Maria Smilios, the author of this book, it's hard to see because I have anyways, it's called The Black Angels, The Untold Story of the Nurses Who Helped Cure TB. Maria was telling me that this month, which is Black History Month, she had a number of different speaking engagements lines up to tell this story of the heroes who helped cure TB in Staten Island, the Black nurses who helped cure TB. And a lot of those interventions had been canceled because the Trump administration is not allowing any diversity, equity, and inclusion work to continue. So the impacts are very far reaching indeed. And now more than ever, for us to come together as a community to share intel, information, and support one another and raise awareness and target donors like Canada to sustain their support and step up even is critically important. So we'll show some links in the chat and ways that you can get involved on a global level to support the TB response right now.
Thank you, Robin. Does anyone have any quick questions before we move on? I'd encourage you to check out the TB Coordination Hub website to learn more. And we'll definitely be amplifying through Stop TB Canada. We will also be coming out with our own statement through Stop TB Canada, which will be included in next week's newsletter. Okay, if no questions, we'll move on to the Canadian context. There's a lot going on. So we have Results Canada's parliamentary manager, Gabriel Cassie, here to provide a bit of an update on what's going on from the parliamentary standpoint in Canada and how that affects our kind of typical World TB Day plans, how this year might look a little bit different than previous years. So Gabe, over to you, and I will reshare my screen.
Great, thanks a bunch, Lee. So as Lee mentioned, the House of Commons right now is prorogued, and what that means in very simple language is it is not sitting. So most of the MPs that would normally be in Ottawa for normal parliamentary procedures are no longer here. They're going to be back in their ridings, talking to their constituents. This prorogation, as I'm sure most of us know, came about when Prime Minister Trudeau announced his resignation at the beginning of January, pending the selection of his successor at the upcoming Liberal leadership convention at the beginning of next month on the 9th of March. And so what this kind of means for our political engagement over this period of time. While Parliament's in recess, it's going to be a lot harder for folks to do MP meetings when they are here in Ottawa. So that's really going to affect, of course, the upcoming GFAN meetings in April, because the House will be in recess, or likely in an election period at that moment. Similarly, we normally do a big parliamentary reception for World TB Day, but again, the House will not be sitting, and we're likely going to be seeing an election in that time, and similarly for doing a statement in the House. I will mention as well that the governing Liberal Party does face a confidence vote that will come up on the 24th of March. All indications are that they will lose that vote. And what that means is that we're likely to see an election to be called 24th, 25th, 26th in that area. An election called in that period. There have been a lot more rumors coming out of the Liberal Party right now that if Mark Carney does win that leadership race, based on the big surge that the party has been seeing in recent weeks, that a new prime minister may actually call an election earlier. So we're likely to see an election called sometime between about the 10th of March up until the 26th. And that would mean that we'd have an election basically going from ending anytime between mid-April to mid-May. So a lot of that immediate time that we would normally spend talking to MPs in Ottawa, doing receptions, and with the GFAN meeting is not going to really be possible just to the parliamentary and political circumstance. So what can we actually do in the meantime? You can still get in touch with your MP. They're going to be back at home, and they're going to be really interested in hearing what constituents, what all of us on this call are seeing as our priorities right now. So I'd really encourage you all to reach out to your MP and raise the importance of actually fighting TB both here at home and abroad. I would also encourage you to do that with your local candidates, especially if you're in a riding which might switch parties, or if you have brand candidates. Reach out to those candidates and just raise the fact that TB is a big issue in this country and around the world, and that you are very invested in seeing this disease eradicated. They do want to know at this moment what are driving the concerns of Canadians leading into the election and after. And then what can we do kind of after? Parliament will come back and MPs will be sworn in after the election, again, sometime in late April into late May. We'll have a better sense of that date in a couple weeks now. As soon as that Parliament is sworn in, really encourage you to reach out as soon as you can to your new MP. And again, raise the same type of issues and share with them. I would encourage you to share with them at that moment the TB Meds report that was just released in January, just to make sure that they know about the issues here. And I would really also encourage, if it's something that if you're in a riding where TB is a particular issue, if you're from like a northern riding, for example, again, include that in your outreach to your MP as soon as they are elected. So yeah, that's kind of the state of play right now. And that's some of the things that we can do at the moment. Again, reaching out to your MP and your candidates, and then right after the election, making sure that you reach out while the iron is hot to make sure that they do know that constituents in their ridings care. So if you have any questions about kind of what's going on in politics right now or anything like that, I'd be happy to hear them. Yeah, Robin?
Yeah, and this might just be some hopeful optimism, but I'm wondering what the probability is in the political policy wonk spaces right now of an election actually being called after the leadership race concludes. And I ask that because I think there is also a possibility of the Liberals and the NDP striking a deal and government being held until like the end of the normal sitting period. Is that a possibility? Yes or no? How much of a possibility? Anything you've heard along those lines would be really helpful.
Yeah, so I think I'm hearing increasing rumors about an early election call. Again, what's been happening over the past several weeks has been the Liberal Party's support has really been surging. Depending on the poll that you read, it's putting them in contention with the Conservatives being in a statistical tie in a recent Angus Reid poll. If that trend continues, it's more and more likely that any Liberal leader incoming would call an early election. As for finding some type of agreement with the NDP, that is always a possibility, although I think that one is much more remote. I think that the NDP would really face a major credibility gap were they to continue propping up the government after having so publicly ripped up the agreement, Spawn Conference agreement that previously held Liberals in power back in September. Especially when they've been so forthright with several repeated calls that the government should fall. So, I mean, it is a possibility, and a week can be a very long time in politics, and so we have a lot of time before that would actually be the case, where that decision would have to come, rather. But I do think that is a little bit more of a remote. So, for my planning purposes, that results, I'm considering that an election would be called in the teens or the 20s of March.
Any other questions? Okay, we will move on now then to what we can do this year for World TB Day. It does look a little bit different, but there are some tried and true actions that we'll continue to take this year. So for example, the lighting up of the monuments for World TB Day, I'll pass it over to Peace from Results Canada to fill everyone in on how you can get involved in this activity.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Lee. Why do we light up monuments on World Tuberculosis Day? So first, we are trying to stand in solidarity with those affected by tuberculosis. So to do that, we have different ways to show it, and the results way is by lighting up monuments. So we ask volunteers, we ask staff, we ask everyone involved, Stop TB Canada, to send requests to different landmarks and see which one will be lit up. So far, we have 37 monuments that have confirmed, have approved that they will be lighting up the color red on World Tuberculosis Day. And we still need more. We still need more monuments and landmarks to be lit up on that day. So Lee, could you share the guide in the chat? Okay, sounds good. So when you look at that guide, you will see that we have different steps on how to do it. So first of all, you need to understand, like, if you're going to send a request, it's best to do it today. It's best to do it before February 24th, because some of the landmarks wants at least 1 month to 2 months to confirm that if it's going to be lit up. So we have different step-by-step, like different steps that you can follow. And usually it would take you like 2 minutes maximum to fill out. But the first thing is to know which landmarks are available. So far we have 91 requests. So make sure that you do not duplicate. You do not send to the same landmark that either has been approved, or volunteers, or Stop TB Canada, or any other person who've requested is waiting for a response. So once you send your request, what happened? You need to follow up after at least 2 weeks. So if you don't receive any response from the landmark or the monument, make sure you send them a request and a follow-up message asking if they will be lit up, or if there is something that will affect the lighting up of the landmark. So in terms of steps, I'm just going to go quickly into them. And also there is a video, that a 2-minute video that explains each step in case you want to see it visually. So Lee, do you have access to the video? You can just put it in the chat. Yeah, so the first step is, yes, look for landmarks that can be lit up. So you have to identify landmarks that accept requests for lighting, because some landmarks do not accept requests or will ask you to pay. So usually we don't go for landmarks that ask us to pay. So make sure that the landmarks you're looking at are those that actually are free of charge. The second step is consulting our list of landmarks so that you avoid duplicates, as I mentioned before. But there is something that I saw which is actually interesting. That is the place where I'm getting landmark, because 91 can be challenging to know which landmark has been taken or which landmark has not been taken. So there has been another event that happened, lighting the town red for Horse Day, I believe. And you can see the list of landmarks that will lit up red for Horse Day. So what you can do is check the list and see which landmarks that Results Canada on our results Google Sheet. You can see which one we haven't requested. And if there is, then there is a possibility, because already for Horse Day, they led up the landmark. Going back to the different steps that you have to do. So now we have a form that we usually request so that you just let us know like which landmark have you requested to, so that if they ask you, for instance, can we get an email from a staff from Results Canada, you can already do that. I believe I've seen some names from Stop TB Canada that have been requesting. So thank you for all that. Thank you for your support. Yeah, so step 4 is just make sure that once you've had all this information, you've completed that, so just send in your request. So you can apply to have your city or landmark. You can do it in your home city if you feel like that would be great. That would be a great opportunity for you to meet up with other advocates, so you can see if in your city the landmark has been requested. If not, just hit send immediately. Yeah, the final step is just letting us know if you've been successful in sending up this request. So in the past, one of the experience that we've encountered in lighting up landmarks is just looking at that color on World Tuberculosis Day. It's fulfilling. Just giving you an example of one of our previous volunteers, she had no idea about Results Canada. And she was in Calgary and she saw the Calgary Tower lit up red, and they were like, what's going on with her family? They didn't know what was happening. So she went to Google. She went to Google and checked what's going on with the Calgary Tower. Why is it lit up red? And she got all the information. For me, that was transformational itself. And later on, she joined Result as an intern and then became a volunteer after. So yes, go ahead. This is a very good action to take. Yeah. Thank you, Lee. I don't know if you have any question, but I can put my email in the chat box. And in case you need to reach out, you have challenges, I can support whichever way possible.
Thank you so much, Peace. Yes, so I encourage everyone to check out those resources, the list of monuments that have been confirmed, and the steps that Peace just went through, and then you can always reach out if you have any questions. But we are feeling optimistic about the number of landmarks and monuments that will be lit up this year to commemorate World TB Day, and we're also looking forward to hosting a few meetups at some of these monuments across the country. So right now we have one event that Results Canada is running in Toronto on World TB Day that we'd like to invite all of you to attend if you're based in the GTA or will be in that area on March 24th. So the event is going to take place downtown at the Ted Rogers School of Management starting at 6 p.m. And it will end with us all walking over to one of the nearby monuments, likely the Toronto sign in Nathan Phillips Square, to take some photos and post on social media to raise awareness for World TB Day and tuberculosis. The event is free and will also include some refreshments. We'll have some TB trivia, a panel discussion with a TB survivor and various TB experts who can speak to the domestic TB situation and then also the global epidemic. And we'll create some creative signage to then bring over to the monument at the end of the event for the photo op. So it will be a really great opportunity to connect with the TB community based in the GTA and shine a light on TB. So if you're interested in the event, please use the link that I'll just share in the chat to register. And then we'll also be helping to coordinate a few other meetups at monuments in other cities, including for now, we're planning Ottawa and Montreal, but really anyone who's interested in organizing a meetup is welcome to do so and encouraged to do so. So we'll share more information about these meetups as details are confirmed. And feel free to reach out if you need any support with setting up a meetup. Again, you can see all the monuments in the list and figure out where you can meet up in your city, and you still have time to make a request, as Peace mentioned. And I will just note to please tag us in the photos on social media on World TB Day so that we can help amplify and increase the reach of your posts. And on social media, I just wanted to add also that Stop TB Canada is currently developing a social media toolkit with pre-drafted messages and graphics that will be really easily shareable across your social media channels to help us raise awareness for TB. And the social media toolkit will be included in Stop TB Canada's February newsletter, which will be sent out next week. So keep an eye out for that, and definitely schedule a few of those tweets throughout March to help us amplify. And then, as Petra mentioned earlier on the call, we're also hosting our annual World TB Day webinar, which will be on Wednesday, March 19th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the webinar will be focused on the topic of access to TB medicines, and will include a debrief on our recently published report on this topic, which was developed based on the findings of a national survey of healthcare providers last year. And the report highlights some of the key challenges in accessing TB medicines in Canada, as well as Stop TB Canada's recommendations for how we can mitigate some of those barriers. And in addition to a presentation from Stop TB Canada on the report, we're also excited to be joined by representatives from the Public Health Agency of Canada, as well as Health Canada, to talk about some of the work that's already being done or that's coming down the pipeline to improve access to medicines for people with TB in Canada. So I will reshare the link to register to the webinar, and hopefully you can all make it to that. There we go. And that will also be included in next week's newsletter and available on our website's events page. So that's it for World TB Day on our end. Before World TB Day itself, we do have one more big event that we're really looking forward to, which is the North American Region of the Union Conference, or the NAR Conference. So a few Stop TB Canada members will be attending the conference next week in Vancouver, and we have a few different engagements planned. So I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Elizabeth Ray to share some of those details, and then we will open it up to hear more about all of your plans for World TB Day.
Hi there. Hang on, my camera. But my wrong camera is showing. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
So for anybody who's going to be at the big North American TB conference in Vancouver next week, every year at that conference we have a Stop TB Canada meeting for us to all, whoever's there at the conference from Canada, to get together. It's going to be the Friday at the end of the conference day, so 5 o'clock. There'll be signs and announcements and things like that. Partly we're going to be talking about what is Stop TB Canada, what have been the activities of Stop TB Canada over the last year, but also what are the issues on the plate currently. It tends to be skewed a bit more toward domestic TB issues just because of who comes to that conference, but I cannot imagine we're not also going to be talking about international TB issues, given, you know, all of the stuff happening as Robin's been talking about. So if you're going to be at the conference, or you know others who are going to be at the conference, we would love to see you. Come and show up. That's really the short version. It's really special to be able to get together in person with other people doing this work. So hope to see you there.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm looking forward to it. And we will also be sharing more information about our Access to Medicines report. We have a poster presentation on the Friday afternoon. So definitely stop by if you're interested in chatting about the findings. Okay, so that is it from our side. As always, you can find more information on our website, or feel free to shoot us an email. But at this point, we'd really love to just open it up to everyone else on the call to learn about what you're planning for World TB Day, whether you're hosting an event, you're planning to publish an article or an op-ed, even social media, anything that we can help amplify, we're happy to include it in newsletters, put it on our website, or share on social media. So I'm going to stop sharing, and feel free to use the raise hand function or put any comments in the chat. Maybe I'll start by calling on Luz, if that's okay. If you wanted to just share a bit about the McGill TB Research Day.
I was writing about it. Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Thanks, Liz.
You read my mind. Yeah, it's so basically for everybody in Montreal or who might be nearby, there's an academic an annual research event, basically for the World TB Day. It's super interesting because it's mainly postgraduate and PhD students, but at the same time there are many researchers on TB visiting and giving lectures. So it's a good, I mean, it's a good moment for us to refresh about the last publications and also to gather in the community and discuss all of the actions for the forthcoming future. Yeah, and then as I was talking with Peace, I'm happy if there is any activity to be volunteered for the lighting up. I participated last year on the lighting up of the stadium. So yeah, I'm happy. I will be in Montreal, so please let me know if you see me. Thank you. I don't have the
Liz.
registration. Sorry, I don't have the registration link yet. But if you texted me or you shared your mail, I can share with everybody interested. Thanks.
Lee, do I gone?
Yeah, did you want to add something, Peace?
No, just saying like so yes, Luz, I'll get back to you once we have like all the information, but yes, I'll also put you in touch with Dom, and yeah, we can coordinate from there.
Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you. And Lindsay, did you want to add about the West Park event?
Hi, yes. I thought actually I'm excited to share some activities happening in Toronto for World TB Day and with TPH. And the first one I think Tim mentioned in the chat that we're super excited about is TPH is collaborating with UHN's West Park Healthcare Center to host a one-day World TB Day conference. So a bit more about that. The theme is TB Horizons, Advancing Diagnosis, Treatment, and Prevention. So, as you know, or many of you know, West Park has, been a leader in providing exceptional TB care for over 120 years, and they're also the experts in treatment of drug-resistant TB. So, it's really a great partner with us for the conference and a great opportunity for clinicians in the TB field and public health professionals and those interested. For more, I can put the link. I think it was mentioned in the chat on your page, but I can even just copy in the link here so you can find out more on the events page. They have the agenda posted, and there's lots of great presentations planned, from TB epidemiology to a survivor story, de-isolation guidelines with Elizabeth, and new drug-resistant treatments, TB in Thunder Bay. It's going to be a really awesome day. And the other thing that I did want to mention too was a unique experience being offered on the day of the conference is a tour of the brand new state-of-the-art TB unit that they rebuilt West Park. And so it's kind of a unique opportunity that you don't always get to go through and see a tour if you're attending the conference on the day. It is from 8:30 to 4:15 at West Park on site. And again, it will be on the events page, but registration closes by Monday, March 17th. So if you want to check it out, that would be great. And then a couple of other things. We have the, in honor of World TB Day, we have the official mayoral proclamation that's going to be put out showing our collective commitment for raising awareness. And then we have our usual TPH social media campaign on X and Facebook. So would love to have, sharing and retweeting if you keep your eye out for that to help boost engagement. And then you already kindly mentioned about, we're going to be joining the Stop TB Canada Results Canada event on World TB Day to also, see the CN Tower and Toronto sign lit up in red, which is always exciting. And then let me just see here, make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, Tuesday, March 18th. Just keep your eye out because Public Health Ontario will be hosting a webinar focused on MDR-TB. And that's a great opportunity to learn more about the challenges and advancements there. And then lastly, TB rounds. There will be a special TB rounds at Scarborough Health Network after World TB Day on April 9th, where Dr. Elizabeth Ray will be presenting a TB case. So that's all for us in Toronto. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out about any of those, and happy to give you any more information.
Amazing. Thanks, Lindsay. It's great to hear that you have so much planned for World TB Day. And I think we have a couple of those events on our radar and on our website. But if there's anything else that pops up, like this, the webinar, for example, and that you'd like us to help amplify, feel free to just send me the registration and I can put it on our website.
Awesome. Thank you.
Our email in the chat. Is there anyone else who'd like to share their World TB Day plans? Maybe BC CDC had some plans. I don't see men on the call.
If men, and I don't think Jess could make the call either, so I can pinch it based on their emails. So they also have mayoral proclamations for World TB Day happening in New Westminster and Vancouver. There's also going to be an event at Vancouver General Hospital. And they also have Vancouver City Hall and Burrard Street Bridge lit up red for World TB Day. So that's their stuff, and some social media work as well.
Great, thanks for that. And I'll reach out to them to get more information about the event. I can maybe put on our website as well for others. All right, anyone else for World TB Day plans? Charlotte?
Hi, I can't see the hand function, but nice to see you. I just want to start with a huge thanks to Stop TB Canada for everything and for putting this this discussion together today. I'm Charlotte Sharsky. I'm with the Indigenous Services Canada. So thanks for sharing all of these plans. We usually circulate a bit of a blast email or newsletter to our TB partners and networks. And so we'll include a lot of the events that you talked about today in that reach out. On our side, we're planning for a webinar on March 28th, which will be about culturally safe TB care. And that will be presented by Tina Campbell, as well as Holly Graham in Saskatchewan. We are planning a social media plan, so we'll have a bunch of different social media posts to raise awareness through our various ISK social media channels. And we'll be sure to send any details about that webinar once it's planned so that you can distribute it through your networks. But yeah, thanks again. Hope to see some of you at the Ottawa sign, and wishing you a really great NAR conference.
Thank you, Charlotte. We'll definitely amplify that, especially with Tina as our co-chair, and happy to amplify any other events that you share as well. Anyone else? Okay, I think we'll leave it there then. I left the Stop TB Canada oh, Robin, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanting to flag that I shared some content from a trip I took to Yola, Nigeria at the end of last year to participate in a TB screening campaign with a TB Reach funded partner there. And essentially it was a campaign to reach nomadic populations and screen them for tuberculosis. So I shared some content with the team at Global Affairs Canada at their request, because they were wanting to perhaps put some information together about our investments in TB Reach and their impact. So yeah, I see Natalie's here, so maybe she could speak to that, but was hoping that there'd be something from Global Affairs Canada leveraging those assets for World TB Day.
Yes, thank you, Robin, and thank you everyone for hosting this webinar. Just a bit of context, I am the TB lead at Global Affairs Canada. I am a bit new to the file, so this was very informative, learning about different ways to amplify TB on World TB Day. And indeed, we did request some pictures from Robin. TB Reach is a partner of ours, so we were very happy to see some of the pictures and the activities in that area. We're hoping to amplify through our social media. We usually amplify either from Stop TB Partnership or Global Fund or both on World TB Day. So we'll be blasting those through our social media.
Great, thank you. We appreciate the support through Global Affairs, as always. Okay, last call. All right, so feel free to share any other resources, events, social media toolkits with us, and we, as I mentioned, are happy to amplify through our channels. And we have about 1 month to go till World TB Day, so good luck with all of your events, and looking forward to working with all of you to shine a light on TB, and really looking forward to seeing some of you at the NAR conference next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.